Well, be prepared, beginning with today and next Sunday, and even the first Sunday of Advent, we're going to hear a lot of predictions about the future, so-called prophecies, although that's not what prophecy is about. Prophecy is making known God's will for us. But it just seems like everybody in today's readings and in the readings to come are going to be telling us about the future. But we have to be careful. The prophet was, in the first reading, was speaking about the future, about the coming of the Messiah. But that's already happened. So it's not what we're looking for. And Jesus is talking about the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, which has already happened. So we're not looking for that. And then Paul is talking about the second coming of Christ. And we are looking for that. But most of us are not looking too carefully for that, are we? But the important thing to remember is that all of our revelation, all of the teachings of Jesus and Paul, all of the words of Scripture are not asking us to concentrate on the distant future or even on the past, although the Scriptures continually bring up the past. We're constantly reminded of what God did in the Exodus, to say nothing of creation, and what He did at the end of the exile as a model of what He is doing for us always. And of course, what God did in Jesus, of course, is the summit of His doing. And we look for the completion of that in God's good time. But the important thing in Scripture, and in all these weeks of readings and preparation for Christmas, is looking at the present, the now, not what is to come, what has already happened. It's important to keep our roots in the past so that we know who we are. It's important to look constantly for the Lord's coming in the future. But the important thing is that we look to the Lord's coming now. Each day as He reveals Himself to each one of us and to all of us as a community of believers. That's very difficult. But you know, to be very honest, the only thing we have is now. We may have great memories of the past or horrible memories of the past, but it's over. We may have great expectations for the future and look hopefully to the coming of the Lord to finally bring His work to completion. But that's the future. All we have is now. We have also one other thing. We have our relationships. The only concrete thing we have is now and our relationships. And that is where God will work in us His saving mercy and salvation. So in the days ahead, in the days that are left to our lives, concentrate on the now. What is God saying to me now? What is God doing with me now? What does God want me to do now? And with whom? And start with those closest to you and work outward. That's the call of Scripture, always, but especially in these next few weeks when we'll be hearing all these prophecies and futuristic visions. If today you hear His voice, harden not your heart. Today is God's gift to us. It's actually all we have.